called to the booth. We hit on the Rams pick. We hit on the Broncos pick. We locked in. Y'all better lock in for your insight. Paul, drop that beat.
Harrison Sanford, Aqib Talib, producer Paul jumping in for this Friday fantasy football, DFS, Insight, Survivor Pick, all types of money being discussed in the show. Hopefully you get your wins up because last week we did. Let's look at our Survivor Pick. Last week we picked the Rams. This week, double-digit point favorites. Browns against the Texans, Packers against the Lions, Bucks against the Falcons. And then you still have the Seahawks and the Broncos as major favorites as well. Aqib, who do you like in our survivor pool for this week?
Look, Paul Harrison, we not picking no double-digit favorites in Survivor if we think we gonna survive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like it.
We just can't do that. That got to be our rule within Call to the Booth. We not riding with no double-digit favorites. That shit barely happened in the league. Don't do it. With that being said, I like the Broncos, man. You know what I'm saying? I like the Broncos. They hot, they healthy, they taking care of business. Who y'all like?
So I like it because I'm in a couple of different survivor pools. Big shock. But like it's always like, all right, we gotta take either the safe guy or like there's always like 3-step process or whatever. I love it. We just fire from the hip. Broncos
Fire from the hip.
Let's go. All right. I'm in.
Easy
I'm in
work.
on the Broncos. It's a big line. But
yeah, go ahead, Paul.
I was just saying, like, it jumped up from 2.5 to 6. I don't love that they went east to back home, then east again. But I don't see how the Jags look like trash. And apparently the team does not, they're not buying into Urban, what Urban's doing. Urban might be at USC by the time we get to Sunday. You don't even know. But,
you never know.
But yeah, overall, I like it. It's not the safest pick. But
they're going to handle business, man. The Broncos, they're going to handle business. The momentum is on their side right now. They playing fast. The Jags is this way. The Broncos this way. A touchdown win makes sense to me.
Allow me to play devil's advocate. And Paul, I do have one question. Not only do we just have to get the pick right? We don't have to do it against the spread.
Yeah, you don't have to cover the spread. No, that's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We just got to get it right.
That would be wild. All right. But with that being said, though, guys, week 3, the Broncos have the Jets at home. Week 14, they get Detroit Lions at home. Just devil's advocate here.
So in this survivor's pick, we don't have to cover the spread.
No, just got to win.
Oh, so why we got the spreads on here? If we got to cover the spread, just put the matchup on here. You know what I'm saying? I think we got to cover the spread in order to advance. If we don't got to cover the spread, then we rock with the Browns at home.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Yeah, I put the spreads in there because it's like those are the teams that are most likely to win. Just to survive.
All right. Well, yeah, I see what you did there, Paul. But if we don't got to cover the spread, I'm gonna rock with the Browns at home. I love that match. They gonna have a little chip on their shoulder. They know they gotta win. They can't start on 2. The Texans gonna come with some. They gonna come play some ball now. But I think the Browns will handle them.
Because when we first started, Harrison, you were like, all right, Browns minus 12.5 at the Texans, and he was like, don't do it. I was like,
yeah, I'm like,
you know,
don't
something
do
we
it.
don't.
I'm like, don't do it. It's 12.5. You don't want to do that. But all right, no spreads. I like the Browns at home. Easy.
And just to back up that Browns pick, there's a lot of tough games on their schedule this year. The only real quote unquote layup is week 11, potentially against the Detroit Lions. But they got the Bears, Vikings, Chargers, Cardinals, Broncos, obviously they got the division foes in the Steelers. They got the Patriots. They got the Raiders, and the Raiders are probably their second easiest matchup after the Detroit Lions. So
if we're gonna take them, we need to take them now, right?
So the only thing I would say to that is NFL week is next week. Week 3, they have the Bears. Yeah, it's kind of a tough slate of games. Chargers, Chiefs, Panthers, Texans on a Thursday.
Oh, look ahead, Paul. You're so smart. Hold on.
Cardinals, Jaguars could be an option. Bills, Washington. There's no gimme game next week.
Cardinals, Jags is a gimme if you actually lead
in Jacksonville.
After what Kyler Murray did to the Titans,
Ravens, Lions is an option next week too. So it's
you
not
still got,
just
and you still got
we got a couple games next week.
Yeah, and you still got Denver against the Jets. So
But we gotta
That's
make
true.
it to next week. You know what I'm saying? It's the survivor pool. We gotta make it to next week. If we don't make it to next week, ain't no next week.
It's true. It's tough to argue with.
So
It's not wrong.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm down with the Browns pick, and
Yep.
there's a lot of it
We
is
will
based
go
off the
Packers,
fact.
but how they played last week, shit.
Yeah. It's like-
Let Aaron Rodgers warm up a little bit before we go with the Packers. You know
you
what
can
I'm
at
saying?
least
There
you
you
can at
go.
least like imagine the Lions winning that game,
Yeah,
right? You can at
yeah,
least like
yeah.
imagine it.
They caught fire for that second half. JG caught fire and came back, and almost messed up a lot of people's tickets, but he didn't. He got close though.
Yeah, that was a wild one for sure. All right, so we're locked in. Week 1, we took the Rams. Week 2, we are taking the Cleveland Browns. A lot of that based off the fact that they're a heavy favorite in this game, and if you look at a lot of their schedule for the remainder of this season, it's going to be very hard to see them as big of a favorite, or see a game that they can't potentially lose for the remainder of the season based on their opponent's schedule, based on their schedule. So we're going to go with the Cleveland Browns for Week 2 in our survivor pool. Now we'll switch over to predicting the fantasy stars of Week 2. Last week we hit with a bunch of them. Jalen Hurts. I think we also predicted Miles Sanders as well, Aqib. I think you also the only one that really didn't hit was Mark Andrews against the Las Vegas Raiders. For the most part, a lot of them hit. So Aqib, looking into this week now, running backs that you like in a great matchup, and obviously a lot of people prioritize this for DFS, which one co-host hit this past weekend.
Well, for my star, I'm gonna go Chubb. I definitely like Chubb. Houston didn't play too bad against the run last week, but Cleveland just different, right? They're the Browns. They're gonna tote the rock at all times, especially against lesser opponents, and especially coming off a loss. So definitely like Chubb. And then I like Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon going to take on Jacksonville. Houston just ran the ball down their throat, did whatever they wanted to them. So I think the Broncos, they fare pretty well in the run game. So, man, I like Melvin Gordon. He coming off a 100-yard performance. Melvin Gordon is my low-key guy.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams going to be interesting choices there from a DFS standpoint. I believe they were at 50-50 on the snap rate in week 1. So it could play out one way or another. But if Melvin Gordon does hit, then you're going to be looking pretty well because they're not going to be too expensive on DFS. And Nick Chubb, the same thing. Great matchup for him. It should be even though last week, I must say, as a James Robinson owner, stockholder, it hurt to see what he was not doing on the court, on the field. Urban Meyer gave a lot of touches to,
and they had to go away from
Carlos
it.
Hyde.
They had to go away from him fast because they was down by so many points. You know what I'm saying? So, the game kind of dictated that.
Yeah, baptism by fire for Trevor Lawrence. Over 50 passing attempts in week 1, your first game.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot. All right, let's go quarterbacks in great matchups. Who you got?
Quarterbacks, let's go Tom Brady. You see what Philly did to that Atlanta defense last week. Tom probably throw 5 touchdowns this week, man. So definitely ride with Tom. And then I like Teddy. If the Texans was able to throw the ball around, go up top, get the tight ends involved like they was, I don't see why the Broncos can't do the same thing. So that Jags defense, young, they struggling in that secondary. I like Teddy to have a day.
Tom Brady, the ultimate troll, put out that video, his typical V1 on this week, going to put out a video the next day or on Monday, put out that video, and in the background on his laptop, it was a Falcons logo, and it was a 3:28, as in that was the time that he recorded it, when really it was just a score of how he came back in that Super Bowl win. Ultimate troll, good work by him. All right.
Thought out.
Yeah,
you know how Tommy do.
Yeah. All right.
Who we got?
Let's go ahead.
Wideouts.
Yes, wideouts.
Let's go. I'm gonna go DK, just because they kind of switch off all the time. Lockett will go crazy. The next week, DK will go crazy. So Lockett went crazy. DK is your turn. He up. And then I say Humphreys. I think Humphreys is gonna follow Tyreek. You know what I'm saying? I still think Tyreek gonna do what he do, but just for the simple fact that they're gonna have the number 2 guy on Mecole Hardman, I think Mecole Hardman is gonna go up top, have a day against them Ravens. So let's go DK Metcalf, Mecole Hardman this week. That's my sleeper.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pay attention to see what happens with Jimmy Smith if he can come back. I know he did not play in week 1. If he comes back for week 2, maybe that's a little bit harder for Mecole Hardman.
Even if it is Jimmy, Jimmy can't run with Mecole Hardman. So even if it is Jimmy, He'll still have a day.
You heard it straight from the mouth there of Aqib Talib. All right, tight end stars. Last week, Gronk went off 2 touchdowns. It looks like he's the potential to do this again, unless they're just beating the Falcons by so much. They just take him off the field. Who else is your other tight end star?
Definitely ride with Gronk. He gonna have 2 of the 5 touchdowns time throw. Hot start for Gronk. 4 in the first 2 weeks. That's crazy for Gronk. But then I'm gonna ride with Noah Fant, man. I think he led the league. He led the Broncos in targets this past week. I think he'll lead the Broncos in targets again and get in the zone this week. So I'm gonna go Noah Fant on the tight ends.
If there's one performance disappointment from the Broncos in their week 1 win against the Giants, it was that fumble, I believe, from Albert O right there in that red zone. But yeah, Noah Fant had a heck of a game, and it looks like they're primed to do that as well. Okay, so now before we get out of here, last week, again, we hit with our best bets outside of Chris Herndon getting the touchdown for the Bengals, but everything else hit. What you got, Aqib? What are some of your best bets going into week 2 before we get out of here?
I like the Rams on the road -4. I like the Rams on the road. I like the Saints on the road -3.5. You know what I'm saying? I like them as well. But for some reason, I keep looking at these Eagles at home with points. I keep looking at the Eagles at home. I know they're playing the Niners. I keep looking at the Eagles at home with the points. But I'm going to stop looking at it, and I'm going to just stop playing, get my best bet. Saints -3.5. That's my best bet of the week right there. Lock it in. They're going to go handle business in Carolina.
What about that? Paul, before you jump in here, what about that matchup against the Carolina Panthers? Did you like? Obviously, CMC had a heck of a day back on the field. You saw Robbie Anderson catch that long touchdown. Encouraging signs.
Yeah,
and they do got
they
do got that animated panther that be running around the stadium. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've definitely seen that. But the point total, they scored 19 points on the Jets. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Jets held their own a little bit, you know. So I just think that 19 ain't going to be enough. The Saints, you're playing against a much better defense. And the Saints going to score some points, man. So the Saints, it less to do with Carolina, a lot to do with how the Saints look in their game. So I just think they vibing right now. Vibe is everything. They vibing right now. That camaraderie there. Jameis is leading them boys. They're going to come with a lot of energy. I just see them winning by more than 3.5.
Only thing mentioned that came out within the last hour or so. So it looks like Lattimore could be banged up with that thumb. Davenport could be banged up, and they might be without their center for a couple weeks. So does that change your thinking at all? I just figured I'd make sure you mention that before you lock it in.
Man, Lattimore don't even need his thumb to strap guys, man. All you need is 2 legs. Then I think Roby will be more in the mix this week. So they definitely got Bradley Roby over there strapping too.
How about that? How about that move?
Big move. You see they crept up in that no-fly zone, right? That got a lot to do with Roby now. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot to do with having a solid second corner to guard that number 2 receiver. So with all that being said, Paul, I think they still go on the road and they handle business.
All right. I'm going to go out west. So Chargers coming off a tough game against the Washington football team. They didn't really like Tyler Heineke was in the game with the Washington football team. I just think, look, the Chargers are going to score on the Cowboys defense, right? We all kind of agree on that. I do think that that Dak keeps the Cowboys on pace with them. So I think it's, maybe 28-27 Cowboys at the gun. And then the Chargers kick a field goal to win. But the Cowboys cover the 3. Cowboys +3, best bet of the week.
Cowboys +3, I like that.
What do you think? What have you seen in that secondary? Like, do you see signs of Trayvon Diggs and some of their other D-backs?
Trey gonna be straight. Now, Trey, they following. Trey following number 1 guy. So I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if he is on Keenan. They kind of match it up. I wouldn't be surprised if he is on Keenan. But he playing ball, man, playing with a lot of confidence. I see them better. They look more, even going against the Bucs, I feel like they look more disciplined. They kept the ball in. AB gave up deep balls. If they could prevent the 2 deep balls, they'll be a lot better. So stop the deep balls, man. But I think they better than last year. I'll say that.
Paul, real quick, do you know how many touchdowns Russell Wilson threw in week
One.
in week one. I
want to say 4. Was it 3 or was it 4?
I want to say 3.
Well, whatever the prop bet is, if it's
defense?
4.
If it's 3.5, he threw 4.
He threw 4.
If the player prop, obviously they're not out yet as we're recording. If the player prop is 3.5, take Russell Wilson over against the Tennessee Titans. We saw what Kyler Murray did, and we know what Russell Wilson has in Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, and they're at home. You know he wants to show out, and you know how Russell Wilson does in that first half of the season. And the faster they score, the better chance they get to keep the ball out of Derrick Henry's hands. You saw what happened last week in week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals. Derrick Henry barely got any traction because they were playing keep up. Same thing's going to happen in week 2. Russell Wilson, diamond passes to Gerald Everett, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Will Disley got busy as well. I'm going with 4 touchdowns at least passing from Russell Wilson. That's my best bet. Sound good?
Switch it up. Switch it up a little bit. I like it.
We all in agreement here?
4's a lot.
Yeah, I like it. I'll take it, man. DK gonna have Jack Rabbit. You know what I'm saying? That's a size matchup, foot and small too. So somebody gonna have to deal with DK. I like him to go off big time this week. So I like it.
Real quick.
I'm going with. Go ahead, Paul.
So, Akio, let me see if I can explain like what Russell Wilson's idea on the Manning broadcast. He brought this up last night. His idea for overtime. So he hates ties. He doesn't want ties anymore. So his idea is that after the first overtime, if it's still tied, you go out to midfield, call heads or tails. And let's say I call tails, it's tails. I have to decide if my team is kicking a 35-yard field goal or your team is kicking a 35-yard field goal for the win.
What?
What if? So
it's like a penalty kick almost.
Yeah, I feel that. But that's why would we lean on the kickers in football in that situation, right? Go to the 20, you know what I'm saying, and do it like a penalty kick, like a one-on-one situation. Let's get our one-on-ones in, man. You win. First one to lose, you lose. So, DBs, receivers, I'm always going to put it on the DBs. Defense get a stop, you win.
I like that.
Offense gets stopped, and then and you go on the 50, and the coin toss is to figure out who go first, right? So, so you might want to say, you might have a guy like a Xavier Howard. Let me send Xavier out there first, get a stop, and we win. You know what I'm saying? Don't put it on the kickers, though. Who gonna put it on the kickers? We want to see some football shit. You know what I'm saying? So don't put it on the kickers. I don't like that shit, Russ, at all.
We don't like kickers at all right here on Call to the Booth, but we do like Russell Wilson to go off in week 2, or at least I would at least. There you go. Those are your best bets. Those were your DFS fantasy football stars for week 2, and that was your survivor pick. That's our Friday show. We'll be back next week on Wednesday, breaking everything down. Obviously, Broncos show next week and another fantasy football show as well. This is Call to the Booth. I'm Harrison Sanford. That's Aqib Talib. Shout out Thomas working the camera in the back and producer Paul with us as well. We'll see you next time.